What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. Today we've got a fun treat for you guys. We've got a Total War Warhammer 2 Mortal Empires 2 versus 2 quick battle for you. So me and Turin teamed up, did some 2 versus 2s, and this was one of the results. So if you take a look here, I have brought Bretonnia, and so this is after the update to the lance formation. You can see there it doesn't have any debilitating or debuffs or anything like that, and so it's pretty strong. Besides that, we've got King Louen up here on top of Beakless, and he's got, you know, Ladies Champion to restore the hit points, and you know, Beloved Son of Bretonnia, and nothing really else. I've got Foe Seeker, and I even though he is kind of expensive, I always do to try to cheapen it up just so I can get some good knights back here. All right, so if you look in the back there, you can see I've got 2 groups of questing knights, and I've also got some Grail knights. So we're in for a treat with that cavalry. We've also got 2 groups of men-at-arms with polearms over here on the flanks, kind of protecting against enemy cavalry. Got 3 groups of foot squires here in the middle. We do have a Damsel of Heavens, and let me show you this right here. You see she's on a horse right there, but besides this power stone to get increased power, we've also got chain lightning, which is a vortex and does tons of damage, and same as wind blast. So I'm going to be trying to do as much damage as I can with my magic, pretty much damage only out from here on out. We've also got 2 groups of peasant bowmen, and we've got some men-at-arms mixed in with some spearmen-at-arms just to kind of hold. You know, the spearmen have a little bit higher defense, but the men-at-arms do a little bit more damage. We've also got those peasant mob in the front there just to soak whatever damage they can and to absorb charges. And King Louen will be just flying around and, you know, trying to get in there and maybe do some hero sniping. Over here for Turin's Wood Elf squad, he's got 2 groups of Glade Riders with Hagbane tips to do some skirmishing up there with that poison attacks. He's also got 2 groups of Wild Riders with shields and them with that 67 charge bonus and 42 melee attack. Those guys will do just a ton of damage as they cycle charge. And you know, Turin's got the micro to do it, so he is just a terror with those troops. Here in the front, he's got Eternal Guard with shields. He does have Orion up here with everyone else, and Orion, you know, just has pretty much all of his abilities. Mel Gibson here, he's got Hounds of Orion, Hawk's Talon, and but if you see here, he actually does have Wurzags on him. So Wurrzag being on the enemy squad does cause 50% miscast chance to all of your spells. So besides that, he does have a Branch Wraith here, which, let's see, the Branch Wraith, dancing there, he's got Penumbral Pendulum, Male Cost Mystifying Miasma, Earthblood. So he does have, you know, some good damage spells and also some healing as well. Here in the back, he's got these Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts. And you see there, they do fire and armor piercing damage. Also in the back, 2 groups of War Dancers with Azrai Spears to deal with anti-large threats, and that should be pretty good. Here for our opponent, the Greenskin player has a pretty odd army. So he was saying in the chat how much of a fan he was. So I don't know of Turin. So I don't know if he's going to see this, but if you do, bud, this was a fun army to play against. So if you see here, he's got 3 groups of Forest Goblin Spider Riders, and in his front line, he does have a group of Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. So that is a ton of Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. 4 groups right there in the front. He's also got 2 groups of Savage Orcs. He's got some Orc Biggins, I think 4 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of Orc Biggins there. And then he's also got the Rusty Heirs and a group of Night Goblin Archers. So it looks like he's got a Night Goblin Big Boss in there on top of a spider. And you see dancing in the back is Wurzzag on foot. And he doesn't have, it looks like he's got Here We Go, Fists of Gork, and Foot of Gork. So he's ready to do some stomping, and those are you know, some of my favorite spells there. Here for the Chaos player, you'll see that he does have Prince Sigvald the Magnificent. He's in there with his mirrored shield, long pretty hair. He's ready to go. He does have that Auric armor, which will heal you know, heals his hit point damage. He's also got a Chaos Sorcerer of Death over here, which has Fate of Buna as well as Spirit Leech. He's got a dragon ogre Shaggoth, and then he does have some cavalry over here. So he's got these marauder horsemen with throwing axes for their armor piercing, some chaos poison warhounds for their poison attacks to be able to slow the enemies, and in the back these chaos knights with lances. They're super damaging, 80 charge bonus. They've got good weapon strength, good attack, good defense, 120 armor. They've got shields. They're pretty much the full package, guys. They even love long walks on the beach. So in the back here, we've got those Chaos Warriors with halberds, front line of Chaos Marauders mixed in with Forsaken here. So these Forsaken, typically I don't try to put them on the front line just because they do take such a huge amount of damage with only 20 melee defense. But you know, they can charge in and break some stuff. So those Chaos Marauders mixed in there with the Forsaken, and then I think that's about it for him. So we'll go ahead and take a look over here from the top. You see there 2,000 troops on our side, 1,800 on the opposing side. So there's a good just bloody battle game ready, and let's go ahead and get that battle started. So right off the bat, you'll see that none of us brought any artillery, and I think we're all kind of surprised about the fact, but either way, we're just going to go ahead and get started. And right over here on the right, Turin starts to get in there, and he's got these Glade Riders with Hagbane tips, and they're going to be able to just start blasting at these these Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. You take a look at that, they've already lost like 4 models, and they've taken like about 1/5 of their HP in damage. Over here on my flank, you'll see we're just kind of positioning. I'm trying to get my cavalry over to the outside, and we're going to go ahead and move those peasant bowmen up over there into the front. Over here on the right, you'll see those Squig Hoppers have actually gotten right into those Wild Riders, and even though they have ratted off, they did kill 1 Wild Rider. But these counter charges with Turin, he is just using his micro to great advantage over here, and just sandwiching all of those Squig Hoppers and Spider Riders as soon as he can. Here in the front line, you'll see those Night Goblin Squig Hoppers charged in there, but they were stopped easily by these Eternal Guard, and since Turin has Earthblood there on that Branch Wraith, he was able to keep his units, and all of those Squig Hoppers, you know, were pretty much routed off the field immediately. Here in the front, you'll see that those Chaos Marauders and those Forsaken engaged with my front lines here. They were engaged with my Peasant Mob, and instead of bringing my cavalry around to the side, I brought them right into the side of the front here and was able to smash them in and just kind of take out a bunch of those Marauders in the front line. You see here, those Forsaken are also taken down, and we are just charging right down the front lines. Of course, at the same time, I've taken some pretty heavy damage. You see those Questing Knights are pretty much almost gone. That Fated unit hit them and just took them out along with the side fire from all of these units. Here in the back, you'll see we do have a chain lightning going. We've also got some of our archers shooting in the back, but oh my god, let's watch that. There's just flying archers. Those Chaos Knights with lances are going to get in there and they'll destroy all of these archers. Here in the back, you'll see I'm getting the Damsel of Heavens out of there, and there's just chaos here. We've got men-at-arms with polearms getting routed off. We've got spearmen all routing off his Chaos Forsaken and the Chosen, or sorry, the Chaos Marauders. And we've actually got a big pit of units kind of here fighting, but at this point, you'll see there we're just charging into the back of those Forsaken. There is a Spirit Leech coming down on my Damsel of Heavens, and at this point, I'm just trying to get out and regroup, try to keep all my units alive. We're going to go ahead and get these Questing Knights to get a big charge over here into these Chaos Knights with lances, but at the same time, that Dragon Ogre Shaggoth I know is just trying to get right into these Peasant Bowmen. He's just going to destroy them, but at the same time, they're not that expensive, so I don't mind a little bit of breathing room to try to get my Foot Squires into the fight and to find out what Turin's doing over here. So if you take a look on the right here, all of those Night Goblin Squig Hoppers are back, and at the same time, Turin's engaged with these Biggins. And the Biggins against the Wild Riders, the Biggins do have a good anti-large bonus, so they should be able to kill Wild Riders over time if they're not outnumbered. Unfortunately, these Night Goblin Archers are going to get taken out by these Hagbane tips, and even though they are archers and skirmishers, they are able to get a good charge in pretty well also. You see my unit of Questing Knights was able to get right into the back of these rusty areas and rout them off immediately. And those Questing Knights are actually up to 75 kills, so even though the Fated unit has done some good damage to Grail Knights, oh man, you see there was a penumbral pendulum right across those those War Dancers. But over here, the Wurzzag is kind of trapped out. The Branch Wraith is in here. You see there's some of those Hagbane tips are shooting in there to poison him. I mean, he's only down to 28 speed, and I think that Turin's doing everything he can to kind of try to pick him off the map. You see here, Turin's Wild Riders are also going to charge into the side. They're going to go ahead and rout off the rest of these Savage Orcs that were here. And that is going to be a real problem for the Orcs because his leadership is just going to be tanking. Over here on my side, you'll see that pretty much we're still just about even. Most of my units have actually started to go down, which is expected. I mean, he does have Chaos Warriors with halberds, and he's got those Chosen and Forsaken will cut down those Empires or those Bretonnian levy troops, no problem. But at the same time, we do have King Louen in here. He's like using Foe Seeker, and he'll get in here and he'll charge this stuff down. You see him send that Chaos Sorcerer of Death flying. We take an overarching look at the battle. You see just so much is going on. I've pretty much had a lot of my units right off the field, but they're all going to start hopefully coming back. At the same time, this Chaos player, you know, he is bringing back a lot of his units as well. But it is just a big fat melee here. You see there we're getting a few shots in there with those from the back. Actually, those are those Starfire shafts coming in there. And at this point, King Louen's in here, and I think that it's definitely looking a little bit slim for me. I'm just kind of trying to regroup my troops, and luckily I do have Turin helping me out at this point. The Greenskins have pretty much broken. You saw just those Wild Riders and even some of my Questing Knights getting into the back line of the Greenskin player. And that front line of Squig Hoppers, while it was a lot of fun, it was definitely not what I expected. You can see there King Louen kind of getting in. He's going to do some fighting. You can see that Dragon Ogre Shaggoth also fighting. Everyone's just covered in blood. But the real thing is these, you know, most of these Glade Guard, they're almost out of ammunition. So these are like the last few shots. That Chaos Sorcerer of Death is actually broken though. And so now it's really going to be up to us to kind of try to take this Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. We do have those Questing Knights in there, but they don't have any anti-large. They really don't have the best weapon strength. So they're not a good tool to take out that Dragon Ogre with. But these halberds, or these polearms that just arrived, and some of these foot squires, they should be able to do okay. If we take a look here at the top, you'll see, I mean, we're just still having more and more units route off from the Chaos player. Here in the back, you'll see I've got some Foot Squires that are engaged with the Chaos Poison Warhounds. We're able to break them off right before these Spearmen at Arms came in, but it is just a slog at this point. We've got some Peasant Bowmen. They've got plenty of ammunition. They're back, and you can see here these Glade Riders with Tagbane tips are going to charge in here, and they're going to help just with everyone here try to take out this Prince Sigvald, who's in here just with this huge 65 melee attack, 60 defense. Prince Sigvald is just a beast in combat. You'll see here he's pretty much just destroying whatever he gets his sword upon. He'll be taking out there we go, knocking those Hagbane tips, you know, those Glade Riders right off. You see they're routed off, and I think that I've pretty much lost all of my units except for these few here that are kind of recovering. I still do have King Louen, and he'll be able to get in here and do some good damage to this Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. You see there, it took a good chunk out of his health. And now that this Dragon Ogre is getting low, I mean, it's really just Prince Sigvald. You saw King Louen get another good charge on Sigvald there, back and forth, and that is pretty much going to be it. All right, so that was just it was a big old fun game. I really liked using the cavalry, those Questing Knights, and the Grail Knights. You see, we're able to even though I did lose one kind of the Fate of Buna, the Questing Knights and the Grail Knights were just doing tons and tons of damage. Look at that, like 300 kills between them. You saw they were able to get in there and help kill that front line. And against the Chaos player, a lot of the time your men at arms, their spearmen at arms, they're not going to do a lot. The pole arms were kind of expensive, so that's probably disappointing. I wish I could have got them in someplace a little bit better. But King Louen did okay. We weren't able to get as many kills with the damsel as we had hoped with those damage spells. I think, unfortunately, I maybe miscasted one or two, or something happened. I don't know. She was off the field pretty quickly. Overwhelming, though, those Foot Squires. They were able to get in there. They were the back line there, just like always. They were able to get in there, do some damage. One of them even leveled up, so that was pretty good. And yeah, I'm just loving that lance formation. Over here for Turin's army, you'll see that he has Orion, 66 kills there. So that, of course, those abilities that Orion has were really great. But yeah, just for him too, that look at the damage on these cavalry, 180 on this group of Wild Riders, 169 over here. And just that mobility and being able to get in there to the back of the troops, that really just with that charge bonus, I mean, it is nasty. That Branch Wraith was able to keep his units alive. You see here the War Dancers with the Azrai Spears and these Glade Guard really didn't take a lot of of damage. Turin only took 316 losses. So that big charge of the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers would not be recommended for anyone if you're checking that out. If you've got Wurzzag, you've got some Goblin big bosses and stuff. All of these units are great. If he had just kept all of these units kind of slowly moving in, he had those Night Goblin Squig Hoppers go from behind. I don't know if he maybe grouped them and forgot to lock it or what happened, but you know, if you're seeing this human resource department, let me know and what happened. Those Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, I mean, they did get in, they did smash. I mean, if you see here, the Eternal Guard of Shields didn't do too great. They all went down, but you know, it was just definitely charging into the back of your opponents is better than charging into the front. You see here, those big ones, they did okay. They weren't able to kind of catch some of these faster opponents. They did take some heavy shots from Turin's Glade Guard. And you know, there was some pretty heavy damage laid at them. At the same time, those Forest Goblin Spider Riders, they kind of got surrounded and taken down, slowed by the Glade Guard or the Glade Riders, and killed by the Wild Riders. I mean, overall, it was, I think that the Greenskin player really did have a hard time with just the sheer mobility and just the damage that Turin brought with this Elf squad. Over here at the Chaos player, CJ, you see, he did 71 kills with Prince Sigvald, so he was in there getting work done with Prince Sigvald. That Chaos Sorcerer of Death was casting Spirit Leech. He got, I mean, I know that he Spirit Leeched the hell out of my my damsel there. And besides that, I mean, those Chaos Marauders and Forsaken, some of them did okay. They were able to kill a lot of peasants, and so the numbers are a little inflated. Some of those men-at-arms and spearmen-at-arms died to their wrath, but also a lot of them died to those side charges from the questing knights and the Grail Knights. Besides that, those Chaos Warriors with halberds, very strong. They always do really well. They have high defense. They're pretty expensive, but 150 kills between them, that's definitely worth their cost. Those guys were in there getting work done, but the Chaos Knights with lances, I mean, they shut down my peasant bowmen. They got in that back line, 222 kills. Same with the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, 91. I mean, these guys were just the all-stars of that Chaos team. They kept them in the match. 1,045 units I lost, so it was definitely a close battle for me. Not so much for Turin, who carried me on his broad shoulders, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. There's more great battles hopefully coming for you guys soon. I got playing with all these guys all the time, so let me know if you like more multiplayer, more free-for-all, singles, live battles. Tell me what you like, who you like me to do it with, and I'll get it done. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching. This has been Black Iron, and this is another one of Black Iron's battles.